about ease. So whenever there is a hardship, there is ease. And this Maxim يا إخوة, هذه القاعدة is the main foundation that everything in Islam Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us to do. That means you're able to do it. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not burden someone more than what they can bear. But who identifies the capacity, what you can bear? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The fact that Allah commanded you to pray 5 times, that means you can do it. The fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded you to fast the whole day, that means you can do it. Or sometimes, ya ikhwa, we come across individuals like the non-Muslims, man, you guys don't eat from dawn until sunset. Isn't that what you hear from them? And when they become Muslims and they do it, oh, that means you're able what? To do it. So the religion to begin with is easy. وَمَا جَعَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ مِنْ حَرَجٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not place any burden on you regarding this deen. Yaqub, where are you going? Come here. Sit. No, right here. Sit. Still young, you need to learn, Yaqub. But subhanallah, look at the Sharia. There are some extraordinary circumstances that someone may go through. The Sharia still offers accommodation to this. Concessions. Instead of praying Isha 4 rak'ahs, just do 2. Instead of praying them separately, you can do what? Combine. So the Sharia in itself is easy to begin with. We mentioned that. Easy to learn. There is a generic ease on the commands. Imagine initially the salah was what? 50 times. You're supposed to pray every day. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala legislated this, that means you're able to do it. But then it went down to what? To 5. Inshallah, let's get to business here, so we'll let you go home quickly, inshallah. But before I address what I wanted to address today, some people sometimes make up hardships, right? So, what is a hardship? One of the most fascinating things, when the World Cup came last year in Ramadan, then this argument, we have these Muslim players who are supposed to play and compete in the World Cup. Are they allowed to break their fast? يقول لك مشقة. Is that a مشقة? Is that a hardship? So that is why, by the way, some of the scholars didn't like the term. They actually said, we would rather use what was mentioned in the Quran, فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. With the hardship comes ease, which is the same thing, but they say the word mashaqqa is an open end. For example, this is one of the most fascinating things that made me really break from laughing. The actor and the actresses who act in Ramadan, and they go and they break their fast because there is what? They are acting. The job is what? Is very demanding, and sometimes there are some scenes that require them to do what? Sometimes if you're acting like you're sitting in a restaurant and having a conversation, is that mashaqqa? That is why the scholars came up with 7 reasons for the mashaqqa. I mentioned them yesterday. Number 1 is what? Traveling. Number 2, sickness. Number 3, forgetfulness or coercion. Yes, that's al-iqra. Number 4, forgetfulness. Number 5, difficulty, الضرر, وقوع الضرر. There is a difficulty. Number 6, ignorance. Number 7, natural deficiencies, اللي هو النقص, decrease. Of course, before I go there, because I want to talk about traveling today, and I want to talk about sickness, and I want to talk about being forced. That's all we're going to cover today, because the rest is clear. Out of forgetfulness is clear. But before I go there, sometimes in the Sharia, we read that some Muslims, they introduce the hardship into the religion. You can't do that either. Give me an example. 3 individuals came and they asked about the manner, Hadith al-Raht, Hadith Anas and Muslim, came and asked about the manner of the worship of the Prophet ﷺ. One of them said, what? That's not enough. I want to do what? More. One of them said, I will pray tahajjud every single night, non-stop. I will not sleep. The other one said, I will fast every single day, non-stop, every day. The third one, he said, no wives, no children, no marriage. I want to be a monk. The children and the kids who are going to take me away from Allah, forget about them. That is not accepted in Islam. The Prophet ﷺ did not accept that. One day the Prophet ﷺ saw a robe hanging in the masjid. What is this robe is about? One of his wives would use to hold on when she prays tahajjud at night, because she will get tired from standing and she will know what? لِيُصَلِّي أَحَدُكُمْ نَشَاطًا. Even if you make up a hardship, is not accepted. If you make up, if you fabricate a hardship, is not accepted. Also, if you make the religion hard, is not accepted either. طب السفر. We mentioned some of the things that a traveler cannot do, or he has a concession, has a license. رخصة. Number 1, break the fast. Number 2, combining and shortening. Number 3, tayammum. المسح, wiping over the socks for how many days? 3 days. Number 5, not praying Jumu'ah. If he is traveling, not praying Jumu'ah, or not praying the Eidain, he doesn't pray Jama'ah. If he doesn't hear the Mu'adhin, if he hears the Mu'adhin, he should what? He should answer this. But when is traveling considered to be traveling? And that's the question. ما هي مسافة الرخصة? And there is a huge debate regarding this matter, يا إخوة. I will provide for you the 4 famous opinions. First of all, do you know what the safar means? السفر هو الظهور. We're going to need that definition later on. A safar, that you become what? Out. You become apparent. Like when you say the day breaks, you say what? أسفر الصبح. The morning has what? Became what? مسفر. يعني إيه? Apparent. Likewise, when a person travels, when he clears off his what? His dwellings. Meaning he moved out of his dwellings. That is what a safar is. The first opinion, we said there are 4 different opinions, and at the end, I'm going to tell you the opinion I like, and I adopt myself when I'm asked. They said the distance of 80 kilometers. You do the math with miles. I'm not going to do this for you. Another opinion, 120. How did they calculate this? The camel normally travels 40 kilos a day. So 40, that means what? 80, that means what? 2 days. 120, that means what? Imagine the camel travels 40 kilos every day if you ride a camel. That's two opinions. The third opinion is an opinion which I really like to adopt. Traveling is tied to what is considered to be traveling, اللي هو العرف, the custom. What is traveling? If I tell you, brothers, inshallah, after I finish this talk, I'm traveling to Denver. Yaqub, would that make sense for you? I'm traveling to Denver. I'm in Aurora traveling to Denver. Would that work? So it's what? Come on, you should say, I'm going to Denver. Because that's not what? Traveling. But if I tell you, tomorrow, inshallah, I'm traveling to Chicago. Would that work? I'm traveling to Washington, right? So what is considered in al-urf, in the custom of people, to be a traveling distance, not a going distance? And that is the opinion which is really more valid. But the opinion that the books of fiqh promote more, and it is supported by evidence, they said that travel has nothing to do with the distance, rather it has to do with the time. If you travel 1 day or more, that means you have a license. If your travel is less than a day, then you don't have a license. You're getting that? But what the evidence is? What are some of the evidence? قول الله تعالى تستخفونها شيخ محمد اللي هي الأنعام تستخفونها يوم ظعنكم أي يوم سفركم ويوم إقامتكم. The day of your travel. So Allah said what? The day of travel regarding the animals. So Allah joined the travel with what? But the hadith, which really shows this very well, لا تسافرن امرأة مسيرة يوم من غير ذي محرم منها. A wife or a woman should not travel the distance of a day. So Rasulullah did not say what? Space here, covering a certain distance. No, he said what? The time of a day without what? Without a mahram, because this is considered to be traveling. And the travel, ya ikhwa, occurs when you leave your dwelling, like I said. Like for us here, when you get on that highway, Bina Avenue, something like that, when you get clearly, that's when you consider to be a traveler, and these concessions become effective. Meaning if you're fasting, let's say it's Ramadan, and you're supposed to fast, and you have an airline ticket, and your flight is at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and the sun is going to set at 7 o'clock. You must wake up fasting, go clear the dwellings, and then go ahead and eat and drink. You're getting that? So the license becomes effective when? Why are you acting like you're having a hard time understanding me, Idris? I'm too difficult to explain? You're making me feel guilty. Are you understanding me? So when does the concession, rukhsa, becomes effective? When you become a traveler, not presuming to be a traveler. Because the license is tied to what? To travel, right? So if you're staying at home but you're intending to travel, this does not make you what? A traveler. So you have to be what? Effective traveling. Well, look out. You see, when you break fast, when you see the sun setting. At 5? Yeah, fast the day. If you want to break your fast, go ahead and break your fast if it is difficult. If you want to carry on, just stay on the airplane and wait for, you look out of the window and if you see the sun setting, go ahead and eat and drink, regardless of where you are. Go ahead and break your fast. I mean, come on. Come on. What is it? We're not going to argue about this. I mean, these scenarios are already there. Go ahead. You have a license to break your fast. If you want to carry on, do you think Allah is going to waste the reward of you fasting until 5 p.m.? Huh? I know it's not considered to be a valid day, but that time you think Allah is not going to reward you for it? Fine, no problem. You broke your fast. Yes, in the Sharia you broke your fast. Don't travel. Stay. So you're getting that. You're getting the 4 opinions. What is the first opinion regarding the traveling? 80, which is what? 1 day or more. So not necessarily 80, is 40 and what? Plus 80 or 120. And the third opinion, which I really stand for, is what is considered fil urf to be travel. What people see as traveling. Not, 5 kilometers and 10 kilometers, no, or that. Number 4 is the opinion which is really supported by evidence, which the books of fiqh promote, that the subject has nothing to do with 80 or 90 or 100. By the way, none in the Sunnah mentions these kilometers, none. But by the way, and it's wrong to promote it that as the Prophet said it. No place in the Sunnah Rasulullah named a certain distance. No place. But these are ijtihadat al-fuqaha, the individual reasoning of the jurists to help people understand the subject. So the fourth one is what? What is the fourth opinion? The day or more. Oh, this is the one that is supported by evidence. طيب, before you go, sometimes we travel and we stay temporarily in a certain place. صحيح? You go to Chicago, for example, or you go to Washington, and you don't know, this is scenario number 1, how long will you stay? Or how long will you interrupt your stay? صحيح? Don't you go some places sometimes and you're just staying and you don't know how long? What is the ruling? Can you utilize the concession here, the rukhsa here? Can you? Yes, you can. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he went to Tabuk, he utilized the license. The 17 days he marched from Mecca to Medina, 17 days he utilized the license. So that talk about 3 days and 4 days, and this is the scenario that you don't know. You don't know. طيب, what if you're staying here in Denver, but you travel to Fort Collins every day? Fort Collins would be considered a distance. I don't know. I mean, it takes a day to go and come back. No? So it is not. Cancel it out. So what if you travel, what is the Cheyenne or something like that? Cheyenne. Is Cheyenne a distance of travel? Okay, someone travels from Denver to Cheyenne and comes back for a day or 2. Can he utilize the license? Yes, he can. So if you're staying, and that applies to an individual who drives what? Someone who drives a truck, who goes to San Diego, comes back. So when he travels, he can utilize the license. But when he is a resident, these licenses are dropped. طيب, here is scenario number 3. You go to some place and you intend to stay less than 4 days. You have a license. More than that, even though the matter is really debatable and I'm against it personally, if you plan to stay more than 4 days, that means no more license. But there is no evidence in the Sunnah to say this. These are what? Opinions of who? Of jurists. The correct opinion, and this is what I stand for, is as long as you're a traveler, you're not a resident, you can utilize the license if you want to. If you want to. But the scholars... Yeah, example of a companion, correct. He shortened, yes. Yeah, there is more than opinion out there. But the verse they used in Surah An-Nisa, وَإِذَا ضَرَبْتُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ فَلَيْسَ عَلَيْكُمْ جُنَاحٌ أَن تَقْصُرُوا مِنَ الصَّلَاةِ وَإِذَا ضَرَبْتُمْ الآية, the verse, آية القصر. And if you travel in earth, there is no problem with you shortening the salah. But let's apply the opposite of this. What if you do not travel? Then there is a problem if you shorten the salah. That's how they interpret it. So the verse says what? وَإِذَا ضَرَبْتُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ, meaning you traveled in earth, then there is no problem with you shortening. فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْكُمْ أَن تَقْصُرُوا مِنَ الصَّلَاةِ. But what if you're staying in one place, you're not traveling in one place? Then they said there is a problem if you shorten the salah. If we apply the opposite of what? Of the verse. But again, it's a matter of debate, ikhwa. You can drop it, you can leave it. Can we take sickness or you want to go home? Huh? Travel, okay.
So let's say, for example, you mentioned about travel to Port Collins. It's not a day, it's just like a couple of hours driving back.
Yes.
But what if you travel and then you have something to do there?
You're a traveler.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not the actual traveling, it's being in a place away from your residence. So it is not about the distance in itself, but it's being in a different locality than your hometown.
How long we left our dwelling?
Yes. How long you're away from there.
I also have a question. So, when the rukhsa actually gets done after you come back, let's say you travel for 3 or 4 days and then you came back.
As soon as you arrive.
As soon as you arrive,
Yes.
it's my time actually
As soon as you come back home. You see, as soon as you entering your dwelling. Yes. Let's say that you arrived 5 minutes after Asr. You have to pray Asr what? 4, you're a resident.
What about if you were traveling and you already prayed like combining? You still have to pray it?
No, you don't have to. If you combined Dhuhr and Asr, for example, then you don't have to.
So if you arrive after Asr, you do the Dhuhr. Here you can combine but for rak'ah.
If you're a resident, you have to combine even Dhuhr 4 rak'ahs. Yes. So let's say that when you were traveling, Dhuhr already finished, but you became a resident, you have to pray Dhuhr what? Complete.
what I used to do, I always give myself 3 days when it comes back.
Yes. Let's talk about sickness quickly. Sickness is easy. Shall we or delay till... Delay it? Yaqub, what do you think? Okay, he doesn't care. طيب. What sickness does? You can break what? Your fast. What else? You can do tayammum. If water is going to kill you. 3. You can combine if you end up taking, pain medication that makes you high. Then you go ahead and what? And because there are certain times you don't have what? So you can combine the salahs. What else? No, you can. It's combining without what? Without shortening. What else? What else? We forgot about fasting. Did we say fasting? Breaking fast. There is another one, al-jihad. We don't talk about it. Al-jihad. يا جماعة الخير الجهاد ليس على الأعمى حرج ولا على الأعرج حرج ولا على المريض حرج. The sick person is exempt from what? From this sha'ira, which we don't talk about. All right. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Can we change the subject? we're live. So when does the concession of sickness, what type of sickness? That's the question I'm asking. A disease when you do the act, it will increase. Can you give me a scenario? Fasting, for example. Somebody is sick and عنده قرحة المعدة مثلا. He has that issue with, or the people with diabetes. Certain people with diabetes, they can't fast because they're sick. So you have a license. Or take, for example, someone who did an eye surgery, right? And you know ruku' and sujood, when you have this, it will do what? You don't have to do it. So you're exempt. You can sit. You don't have to stand. Or the cure is delayed because of doing the act. In Ramadan, if you're sick, you go to the doctor tells you have to take that medication 3 times a day, every day. So you have a license. Because what? If you don't take that medication, what is going to happen? Your sickness is going to... or when you do the act, you feel the pain. Like when you're doing the act, you feel what? It's painful. Then you can sit down. You can use the concession. The last thing is being forced. That's all, wallahi. I promise you, this is the last thing. آخر حاجة Sheikh Muhammad, والله يعقوب آخر حاجة يعقوب. The last thing. Being forced. Because there are some ambiguous things about this. What does it mean being forced? They mention 3 conditions about being forced. أن يكون الإكراه حقيقيا. That it's true. Some people, when they come from overseas, they think that if you have a beard in America, and if you go to the masajid, that means what? So they stay away from what? So they don't go to the masajid because of what? Because they are afraid of that. So is it true? Come on, is it true in America, the land of the free, the land of the brave? I mean, here I am, when I go to Egypt, by Allah, I can give a lecture like this. Here in America, you can give a lecture. So, no, it's not true. These are made up what? They said, look at the second condition. It's very interesting. أن يكون موجب الإكراه أقل من فعل المحظور. يعني إيه? Somebody tells you, if you don't, Frank, I'm having a gun right here. If you don't shoot everybody right here, I'm going to shoot you. Imagine this. So we have all these people sitting here in the masjid. So which one should we do? Is that called being forced? So what you're asked to do is far greater than what? The license. Then go ahead and just shoot me. I'm not going to do it. You're getting that. You're getting that. The third condition, the person who's threatening you is able to inflict the threat. Yani Yaqub, for example, no, let's go with Ibrahim. Ibrahim is a little one. Ibrahim comes and says, Sheikh Karim, I'm going to hit you. I said, Ibrahim had the Ibrahim. I'm going to hit you if you don't slap Idris on the face. Should I slap Idris on the face? Huh? Should I slap Idris on the face? Yaqub, can Yaqub hit me? Can Ibrahim hit me? Yala, hit me yala. He can't hit me. ومين اللي أخذ بدي يا إخوة؟ شوف حتى تعلم عدل عمر. قصته مع قاتله. His story with his killer. Who was the killer of Umar? المجوسي أبو لؤلؤة. Some of you may not know this, but this is mentioned in Hadith Maqtal Umar. You see, Abu Lu'lu'a complained to Umar that the tax is very high. So Umar said, I will look into it. And meanwhile, Umar wanted to give him some work so he can make more money. He said to him, اصنع لي رحى. Can you make a grinder for me? You know what Abu Lu'lu'a said to Umar? لأصنعن لك رحى يتحدث بها أهل المشرق والمغرب. You know what Umar said? توعدني الفتى. But Umar did not arrest him. Why? Because he didn't know that he's going to go about it in the salah. He can't do that. He can't inflect. You know, he didn't use this as a license. Imagine this. He let him because he felt that he's unable to what? Carry out his threat. So being threatened, the person must be able what? To carry out the threat. It cannot be what? A vain threats. جزاكم الله خيرا. This is nice. So this way we covered the 7 reasons for ease. Inshallah, we're going to talk about the types of concessions. There is رخصة إبدال, رخصة إلغاء, رخصة تقديم, رخصة تأخير. You're going to enjoy this. It's a lot of fun, inshallah. جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والحمد لله رب العالمين.